There's another tornado brewing over there in the name of Inoue.
The Japanese 118 pounds, but wow, he was like 108.
Boxing?
He's a mean son of a bitch.
That is a bad dude, you hear me?
In 2018, and again in 2023, we saw the brutal reality of what happens when this man dares to challenge Naoya Inoue. But he forgot that when the monster steps into the ring, it's pure destruction. With a fierce knockout in just the third round, Inoue delivered a message to never face him unless you're prepared to pay the price. Naoya Inoue was a storm waiting to explode when the moment arrived. 30 opponents had tried to stand in his way. All 30 failed, and yet challengers kept coming, promising to destroy him as if his knockout ratio of 90% was some kind of fluke.
That is a bad dude.
But Inoue doesn't just win fights, he sends a message. His punches aren't just powerful, they're personal, a response to the arrogance of those who dare to underestimate him. Fighters mocked him, disrespected his name, and even questioned his heritage, calling him overrated simply because he hailed from Japan. But when you step into the ring with Naoya Inoue, it's not just a fight, it's a reckoning. And for those who promise to destroy him, one truth becomes painfully clear. The monster doesn't just fight, he finishes. Let's talk about Jamie McDonnell, the towering Brit who stepped into the ring with more arrogance than strategy. At 5'10", McDonnell had a significant height and reach advantage over the 5'4" Naoya Inoue. He strutted in with a solid resume, 30 wins, 2 losses, and 1 draw, with 13 of those victories by knockout. Tough, durable, and confident, McDonnell believed his size and experience would give him the upper hand. He openly dismissed Inoue as unproven and boldly declared that he would smash him. Big mistake. The fight took place on May 25, 2018 in Tokyo, with the stakes as high as McDonnell's confidence. The WBA bantamweight title was on the line, and Inoue was making his debut in the division. Many wondered if the smaller Japanese fighter could handle McDonnell's size and reach, but those doubts didn't last long, barely a minute to be exact. Inoue started fast, a blur of precision and aggression. McDonnell, known for his durability, was immediately on the defensive. Inoue's punches landed with pinpoint accuracy, and his signature body shots began breaking McDonnell down. These weren't just any body shots, they were the kind that make even the toughest fighters question their life choices. At the 1:52 mark of the first round, it happened. A thunderous left hook to the body. McDonnell winced, his face contorting in pain as his legs betrayed him. He hit the canvas. The first knockdown of the fight. To his credit, McDonnell got back up, but the damage was done. The confident Brit who had promised to smash Inoue now looked like he'd walked into a buzzsaw.
Anyone who's in front of him, he's gonna get to him. He's gonna get to him.
Inoue didn't let up. Sensing blood, the monster went in for the kill. A flurry of punches, sharp, powerful, and perfectly timed, left McDonnell reeling. Unable to defend himself, he was at the mercy of Inoue's relentless assault. The referee had seen enough and stepped in to stop the fight at 1:52 of the first round. It was a stunning first-round TKO, one of the quickest and most brutal finishes in bantamweight history. The stats of the fight told the story of Inoue's dominance. He landed 35 punches in less than 2 minutes, with over half of them being power shots. McDonnell, by contrast, managed only a handful of ineffective jabs. It wasn't just a victory, it was a statement. Inoue had announced his arrival in the bantamweight division with a performance so commanding that no one dared to question his abilities again. Jamie McDonnell, the man who confidently dismissed Inoue as unproven, left Tokyo not just without his belt, but also with a humbling lesson. The monster had turned his arrogance into another chapter in a growing legend. Now let's head to the United States, where Antonio Neves was ready to take his shot. Neves wasn't just any challenger, he was confident, vocal, and very American about it. Before the fight, he boldly claimed that Inoue's power wouldn't translate against him, especially not on American soil. Neves wanted to prove that Inoue's reputation was nothing but hype. The first round began, and Neves tried to establish himself with quick footwork and a high guard. For a moment, it looked like he might hold his own. But then, Inoue started doing what he does best, breaking his opponent down piece by piece. The jab. Let's talk about Inoue's jab for a second. It's not just a punch, it's a weapon. Inoue used it to find his range, and once he had Neves figured out, it was game over. By the second round, the body shots started landing, and Neves began to feel the kind of pain that makes you rethink your life choices. By the third round, the crowd's energy shifted. The cheers for Neves started to fade, replaced by murmurs of amazement at what Inoue was doing. Relentless, calculated, and utterly devastating, Inoue left Neves no room to breathe. The final blow came in the form of a brutal combination that sent Neves stumbling into the ropes. The referee stepped in, and just like that, the fight was over. Here's the kicker. By the end of the match, the same American crowd that had doubted Inoue was on its feet, cheering for him. Neves had promised to expose the monster, but instead, he became just another cautionary tale. Inoue doesn't care about the odds, the hype, or the noise. He steps into the ring, does what he does best, and leaves with another name on his list. For McDonnell and Neves, their promises to smash or expose him became nothing more than footnotes in a career defined by destruction. Because when you face Naoya Inoue, arrogance doesn't survive, it gets knocked out. Let's start with Emmanuel Rodriguez, a man who didn't just underestimate Naoya Inoue, he decided to make it personal. Trash talk is one thing. It's practically a pre-fight tradition. But Rodriguez's team crossed a line that no one should ever cross. They disrespected Inoue's father. At a pre-fight workout on May 18, 2019, Rodriguez's trainer shoved Shingo Inoue, yes, Naoya's father and trainer. It wasn't just an insult, it was an open challenge to the Inoue legacy. You could almost see the shift in Naoya's demeanor, a silent, chilling promise that Rodriguez would pay for this. Rodriguez strutted into the fight with the confidence of a man who had never tasted the canvas in his career. His uncrackable chin, a reputation built over 19 fights with 12 knockouts, was his calling card. Then the bell rang, and everything changed. Inoue came out like a storm, measured, precise, and utterly devastating. Rodriguez, for all his bravado, couldn't handle the relentless combinations to his head and body. The turning point came with a single devastating liver shot in the second round. It wasn't just a punch, it was a masterpiece. Rodriguez folded like a deck chair, and his legendary chin, it became a myth. For the first time in his career, Rodriguez hit the canvas. The fight was over before the second round ended. Naoya Inoue, with just 5 minutes of destruction, had turned a once confident champion into another victim. Rodriguez learned the hard way that disrespecting the monster or his family is a surefire path to humiliation. Next up, Stephen Fulton. This fight on July 25, 2023 was billed as a clash of titans. Fulton wasn't just a contender, he was the reigning WWBC and WBO Super Bantamweight champion with a record of 21-0 and 8 knockouts. Many regarded him as the best in the division, but instead of respecting Inoue's accomplishments, Fulton dismissed them outright. He labeled Inoue's dominance hype and suggested that his reputation was inflated due to his heritage. From the opening bell, it became painfully clear who was in control. Inoue's lightning-fast jabs and razor-sharp counters left Fulton scrambling. Known for his skill and toughness, Fulton suddenly looked hesitant, cautious, almost overwhelmed. Inoue's power and precision turned what was supposed to be a competitive fight into a clinic. By the 7th round, Inoue decided to end it. A thunderous straight right followed by a pinpoint left hook left Fulton staggering. The referee stepped in to stop the punishment, sealing Inoue's victory. It wasn't just a win, it was a statement. The so-called hype had transformed into undeniable dominance. Finally, let's talk about Luis Neri, a man who managed to make himself public enemy #1 in Japan. Neri wasn't just a challenger, he was a villain, despised for his cheating scandals and for tarnishing the reputation of Japanese boxing. This fight wasn't just about belts, it was about revenge. The fight started with a shock. Inoue, for the first time in his career, found himself on the canvas in the first round. For a brief moment, the Big Egg Arena went silent, and you could feel the tension in the air. Was this it? Had the monster met his match? Not a chance.
He had a decent defense.
If anything, that knockdown woke Inoue up. From the 2nd round onward, it was a completely different fight. Inoue's defense became something out of a movie, ducking, weaving, countering like he was channeling prime Muhammad Ali. Neri, who came in with so much bravado, quickly found himself outclassed. By the 6th round, it was over. A perfect right hand sent Neri crumpling against the ropes, his confidence shattered. The crowd erupted as Inoue stood victorious, not just as a champion, but as a symbol of justice for Japanese boxing.
He's definitely the face of boxing internationally for sure.
Naoya Inoue isn't just a boxer, he's a phenomenon. Opponent after opponent has promised to destroy him, only to end up battered, humbled, and often questioning their careers. It's not just his fists that leave a mark. It's the psychological devastation he delivers, turning confident challengers into broken men. Every time someone vows to take him down, the story unfolds the same way. Arrogance meets precision, and the result is never in doubt. Inoue's psychological edge is unmatched. His opponents often walk into the ring brimming with bravado, convinced they've found the secret to beating the monster. By the time the first round ends, that confidence evaporates. His calm demeanor, even under the brightest lights, unnerves opponents who expect intimidation to faze him. Instead, Inoue thrives in the chaos, feeding off the pressure and turning it into fuel for his craft. Inoue is a marvel. His ring IQ is off the charts, allowing him to adapt mid-fight with surgical precision. He isn't just throwing punches, he's calculating, analyzing, and dismantling his opponents piece by piece. His power is undeniable. 27 knockouts and 30 wins speak for themselves, but it's his speed and timing that make him truly dangerous. Whether it's a perfectly placed jab or a body shot that crumples even the toughest fighters, Inoue's arsenal is both varied and devastating.
The most efficient hunting machine in all of boxing.
He's vicious. The monster.
What sets Inoue apart is his ability to capitalize on mistakes. Arrogant challengers often enter the ring with flashy strategies, only to find themselves exposed by his relentless pressure. He doesn't just win, he makes a statement. From Jamie McDonnell's shattered confidence to Emmanuel Rodriguez's uncrackable chin succumbing to a body shot, Inoue leaves no doubt about his dominance.
The monster.
It's a good piece, right?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, it gave me goosebumps.
The question now is, who will dare to promise to destroy the monster next? Fighters have learned the hard way that Inoue doesn't just defend his titles, he defends his legacy. Each arrogant proclamation becomes another opportunity for him to show why he's considered one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. Naoya Inoue's journey from being underestimated to becoming an unstoppable force is nothing short of legendary. He's more than a fighter, he's a symbol of dominance, discipline, and sheer willpower. Opponents who dismiss him don't just lose, they become another chapter in a story that continues to grow with every fight. So now we turn to you. Who do you think can stand up to the monster? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more incredible stories like this. Naoya Inoue isn't just rewriting the rules of boxing, he's redefining what it means to be a legend. Every opponent who vowed to destroy him has only fueled his legacy. Like this video and subscribe to the channel to know more about Boxing World.